Good afternoon. Welcome to the Harold Washington Cultural Center, here located here on the Southside of Chicago on 47th and King Drive. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization committed to children, community, and culture. That's why this event tonight is so important to us to be able to host this wonderful, magnificent activist, philanthropist, humanitarian, charitable giver, this man that is so humble with a big, big heart, and he is the King of Chicago. Let's give it up for Mr. Chance the Rapper.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, Chicago. I want to thank you guys for being here. Rest of the world tuning in. Thank you for being so patient after all the technical difficulties. This is an extremely important day for us here at SocialWorks. I got a clicker because I'm Steve Jobs today. This is the culmination of months of hard work, dedication, focus, and as you can tell by the way I'm dressed, theatrics. I've been home for a little over a month since getting back from tour, and there are two things that have been weighing heavy on my mind. The first thing is distressing. Twice, just in the last month since I've been back, I've had someone tell me that they were going to shoot me. This is obviously, it was just talk, but both were small altercations, and I could tell immediately upon point of contact that these young people had a chip on their shoulder, that they felt undervalued or cheated. And that's the way Chicago is. And in the summertime, when the city's at its most beautiful point, when people are supposed to be outside enjoying themselves, there's an undercurrent of something ominous. There's some unease and this climate of fear. But the second thing is optimistic. It's uplifting. My daughter Kinsley, she's learning so fast. She's starting to speak, starting to form sentences, stealing my phone to try and make FaceTimes when I'm not looking. She's amazing, and her talents, her brilliance, her gifts continue to inspire me. So I'm starting to think, how can I encourage her? How can I engage her? How can I give her everything that this city has to offer and that this world has to offer? So now I'm thinking about enrolling her in some sort of early education program. These are the two most pressing things on my mind. The thought of finally sending my daughter to school and the unease of the city that she's entering into. And that's why I'm so happy that SocialWorks exists. We created SocialWorks a little over a year ago for a simple reason. We wanted to give young people a path for expression, a path for engagement, and obviously a path for education. We do this by providing leadership opportunities for young people grounded in places that mean something to them. Their communities, or their schools, or their churches. And all of our programming reflects that. It's an opportunity for kids with an appreciation for where they grew up. Like our open mic program, which we started in partnership, with the Chicago Public Libraries. Open mic is a monthly event for high school students throughout Chicago to get a platform to share their talents, speak their minds in front of a crowd of their peers. And it's a safe space where kids can come and express themselves. We've had kids sing. We've had kids rap, do stand-up, play beats, do magic. I had a kid come on stage and just eat tacos while voguing. That happened. That's not a part of the speech. That's just that happened. But it takes courage to share your talents. An open mic gives students the exposure that they need, the exposure to creativity, and it gives them that experience from both sides of the stage. Parade to the Polls was another initiative getting young people to, thank you. Parade to the Polls was another initiative getting young people to participate in politics, many of them for the first time. We worked with the NAACP to set up registration booths at each stop on my tour, and we also set up registration booths in boutiques all across the city. What up, Boston? That effort registered 7,000 people, and we got 1,500 people to pledge to vote. Then had a concert the night before election, and after we finished, we marched a massive crowd through the streets of downtown to make their voices heard, breaking the city record for early voting. At the Bud Billiken, and the concert that we hosted afterwards, the free concert, we worked with sponsors to give away over 30,000 backpacks to help students get ready for their first day of school. But amidst all these efforts, we know the challenge of improving local education is critical. It's an incredibly tough environment to be in right now. The state of Illinois just finally, after 4 years, passed their first state budget. And it still hasn't changed the CPS crisis, though. That $215 million debt only raised to $269 million. That means principals are finding out in the middle of the school year that they don't have enough funding to pay for their teachers. Just 2 weeks ago, CPS announced that they were laying off that they had to lay off 1,000 employees. I'm pretty sure 350 of them teachers, and the teachers that still have their jobs are reaching into their pockets to pay for school supplies for their students. After school programs are being cut, leaving parents without the peace of mind about their children's safety. And neighborhood schools, specifically on the south and west sides, are closing at a disproportionate rate, hurting Black and Latino students the most. Only. But despite the lack of investment, CPS students continue to beat national averages in reading and math. Thanks to our brilliant students and their work with their amazing parents and amazing principals and amazing teachers. And it's in that same spirit of collaboration and resilience that led us to create the New Chance Fund. It was that level of commitment against the odds that inspired a viral reaction amongst countless others to contribute and take a stand to demand that we prioritize education. And the response was ridiculous. People around the nation, especially in the city of Chicago, stepped up to help however they could. We saw posters, we saw pens, we saw dinners, we saw GoFundMes, we saw tweets, and who can forget those delicious cookies? Am I not killing this PowerPoint right now? Yeah. And each conversation, every contribution, every tweet brings the city and the nation a step closer to providing a well-rounded, quality education for each and every child. Because despite the headlines and the stories that we hear about schools failing kids in Chicago and Atlanta and Baltimore and Philadelphia, despite all these stories in so many cities throughout the nation, we've also seen beacons of hope. In Atlanta, the city began a 3-year literacy initiative that will equip 1,500 Atlanta Public Schools teachers to deliver high-quality instruction to all elementary school students, where more than 1/3 of their students read below grade level. In Baltimore, the spirit of activism amongst the community led elected officials to pass a bill that prevented drastic cuts in the city's public schools, legislation. And in Philly, we saw principals unite to obtain a new contract that will provide pay raises, bonuses, and restore them as 12-month employees. Yeah, sometimes you got to stand up. All these stories point to one simple truth. Funding quality education for public students is the most important investment a community can make. So today, all of us at SocialWorks are excited to take our biggest, boldest step yet and announce our first ever grants from the New Chance Fund. Today, thank you. Today we're giving a new chance to kids in 20 more schools across our city. Each school will receive $100,000 over the next 3 years with budgeting and staffing guidance provided by CPS and Ingenuity. But check it out though. We're not just cutting checks. SocialWorks sat down with these amazing 20 principals and curated a menu of options so each could realize their own independent vision. With technical support from Ingenuity, we'll implement these donations and track their results so we can continue to demonstrate the positive impact that teaching the arts has on students. We chose these 20 schools based on a number of factors, focusing on those most in need. We looked at a school's CPS rating and focused on schools that were most affected by mid-year budget cuts and lacked funding for arts teachers. But our most important criteria overall is the principles that showed determination and vision to uplift. You already know. We all love her. Big thanks to Principal Teresa Nagy from Mahalia Jackson. Principal Nagy is using the fund to build a new studio that will teach ballet, hip-hop, and modern dance at their school. How about Principal Hammond from Ambrose Elementary? You're amazing. Principal Hammond's going to use the fund to implement a new interactive science curriculum called FOSS, using cutting-edge equipment in a brand new science lab. And my guy, Principal Francisco, you know what I mean? But us, at Spry Community Links High School, will revamp the school's academic programming by incorporating photography, spoken word, and radio programs this school year. These principals and their schools, and those like them across the city, are writing new realities for our kids and our futures. On March 6th at Westcott Elementary, you already know, at Westcott Elementary on March 6th, I posed a question of who cares? Who cares? Who cares about the kids? AEG, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, the Chicago Bulls, and hundreds of thousands of my fans showed that they cared. And thanks to all of them, and thanks to just those people, all of this is possible. But the impact of the New Chance Fund goes beyond this school year. Goes beyond these 20 schools. We've already begun securing funding to do the same thing next year. And we will. We will make this effort sustainable so that we can reach every school in Chicago. But we have to care. We have to care. We have to ask representatives to actually listen to their constituents and draft legislation that makes sustainable funding for schools. We have to ask for companies, the ones that are all in our neighborhoods selling us shit. Oh, I was so close to not cussing. I made it through so long. But we have to ask these companies that we spend money on every day to contribute financially and invest in education in our communities, recognizing the vital link between education and economic growth. We have to ask communities and institutions to reach out and help environments where learning can be protected and encouraged and championed. And I'm asking my fans, my supporters, and any concerned citizens to spread this message and their stories by tweeting #SupportCPS, calling for equitable funding in education. I need your voices. I need your help. I need your bodies. I need your minds. And obviously, I need your help. We have a lot planned for all of our initiatives, not just in education and the Warmest Winter initiative this year and our next Parade to the Polls. So we need bodies, we need volunteers. So anybody out there watching, if you want to get involved, make sure you check out all the volunteer opportunities at SocialWorks, and you can always donate at socialworksshy.org. I can't wait for the school year to begin and to begin working another year with my homies at SocialWorks, inspiring creativity, building dreams, and letting you be you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, and one more thing. In June of 2018, the city of Chicago will host the first ever annual Twilight Awards, highlighting teachers, parents, principals, and students that convey leadership with special guest performances, and it will be hosted by the one and only James Corden. Good night, guys.